Welcome back everybody to another episode. In this one, okay, we're going to be talking about bullish patterns in the market, okay, specifically candlestick patterns. Now, there are a number of different bullish candlestick patterns that we can see in the market, okay, in various different trends. There are a number of different ways that we can identify these, okay, and they've all got a slightly different name to them. Now, of course, these candlestick patterns aren't going to work anywhere on the charts, and it's important that we have our understanding of the actual movements in the market, okay, the trends, our support and our resistance, okay, and the overall nature and phase of the market that we're actually in to be able to actually capitalize and use these candlestick patterns properly. So what I'm going to do, okay, is I'm just going to talk a little bit about what these bullish patterns actually represent, okay, and why is it that we actually look for them. So bullish patterns, okay, are represented in the market and they will show us a sign of potential reversal. Now, as we know, every single candlestick in the market, okay, makes up a series of price movements either up or down in a given period of time. Okay, now we know that you can get candlesticks on any time frame from the daily all the way down to the seconds time frame, okay, and all it does is it represents what price did in that particular time period. So if we can take that information, okay, and look at how these candlesticks are actually displayed and the sort of turning points that you actually get in the markets and the types of candlesticks that we actually see at these turning points, what we can do is we can develop an understanding of the types of things to look for when calling a potential reversal. So this is why we like to be able to look at our candlesticks, okay, and actually look at how they actually form, whether, like I said, you can get a large body and a small wick, or whether you can get a small body and a large wick in more of a consolidation period, okay, and there's also lots of other different types, okay, dependent on how these wicks and these bodies of each candle actually forms. So this is why we like to actually look at these candles, okay, because they can give us an understanding of where price may actually reverse from, and this will actually be able to give us potential entries in the market, okay, either when we are buying or when we are selling. So, of course, there are lots of different bullish patterns, okay, these can range from anything from a morning star to a low test candle, okay, we can even have, tweezer bottoms, engulfing candles, all different things like this, okay, and it's just about being able to recognize these individual candlesticks on the charts and being able to actually recognize them at the right places on the charts. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go through and talk through each bullish pattern that we actually use here at TradeDork, okay, and the most important ones to look out for when trying to find a potential trade. So let's get into that now. Okay, so the first candlestick pattern that we're going to talk about is this particular candle pattern known as the low test. Now, a low test candle, okay, comprises of a larger wick on the bottom half of the candle, okay, and then usually a small body close at the top end of the candle. Now, you can obviously get the reverse of this, which we'll look at in a different episode, but the main point of this low test candle is it's showing us a rejection of a particular price level. Now, why is it showing us a rejection of a particular price level? Well, what does that wick actually represent within that time period? So what it shows us is that during that period of time, price has pushed down, okay, to the low of that candle, and then it is then retraced all the way back up and closed with a very small body. Now, what this shows us is that price actually rejected the low level, okay, and then there was buying pressure which came into the market and caused price to actually close with this tiny body. So if, for example, we were in a potential area where we had liquidity, or we had a 3-touch channel, or we had some indication that we were at the end of our bearish run, okay, and then we saw this low test candle potentially in an area of support, what that would then indicate to us is that maybe price is ready to start reversing. So this is the great candle that we can look for, guys, okay, and we're going to be going through examples of this on the live charts, but for now, just take note of the low test candle and we'll move on to the next pattern. Now, the next pattern that we want to look at, okay, is the doji candle. Now, the doji candle can work both in bullish trends and also in bearish trends, okay, and it can predict reversals in either direction, but the main point of the doji candle is to understand what it's actually representing on the chart. Now, a doji candle, okay, is showing us clear indecision, okay, and a lack of momentum continuing in either given direction. Now, what this might mean is that, again, if we are at an extended area of our bullish or bearish trend, okay, if we are in an area of support and resistance where we are kind of already predicting that the market may be reversing, if we then see a doji candle, okay, what this may indicate to us is that price has begun consolidating, it is running out of momentum, and it will be indicating a potential area where price may actually start that reversal from. So a doji, okay, similar to the low test, is a great candle to be looking out for in certain areas. Obviously, you've got to make sure you're doing it in the right area, but when you get this indication, okay, of this reduction in momentum, what it can actually show us is that on a lower time frame, we may actually be ascending very, very slowly and creating very, very choppy corrective price action. And this can indicate to us, like we already know about ascending channels, that it could be the start of potentially a reversal in the downwards direction, or vice versa. If we are seeing a doji and it's part of a descending channel, this can then indicate to us a potential bullish move. So let's have a look at the next pattern now, okay? And we're going to be looking into the bullish engulfing candle. Now, this is what we refer to as a bullish engulfing. As you can see, and as I've actually spoke about in a previous episode, this candle actually is showing us clear momentum to the upside. Now, why is it showing us this clear momentum? Well, it's all body and very little wick. Now, this indicates a clear impulsive move to the upside, okay, and it's the complete opposite of our doji candle, which is a small body and a big wick. So whenever you see a candle like this, okay, it's showing us that there is still momentum pushing in a particular direction, okay, and this is referred to as our bullish engulfing. Now, when you see a bullish engulfing candle, okay, you can predict that we may not be actually reversing, but instead we may be continuing a trend in a given direction. And in a later episode, when we actually learn about how to trade a breakout and a retest of our support and resistance, okay, we will be learning how to utilize the bullish engulfing, okay, to actually trade trend continuations. So for now, just to keep note of the bullish engulfing, okay, and how we can actually identify momentum in the market by looking at the size of the bodies compared to the size of the wicks.
The best time to take action is now. What are you waiting for? Tired of struggling with market direction? Want buy and sell indications at a click of a button? Who wouldn't? Check out TradeDork's buy and sell indicator today at TradeDork.com.
Now here we can see, okay, a slightly different formation made up of 3 different candles. Now this can be seen as the morning star or the morning star doji, and what it shows us, okay, is a complete reversal in momentum within 3 candles. So first of all, we have the momentum candle down, okay, this larger impulsive down candle, which closes with mainly all body and very little wick, indicating a potential impulse to the downside. After this candle, okay, we're then followed by a very, very clear doji candle where we have little to no body at all, okay, and it's all wick. Now, because it's a much larger wicky candle, okay, it's showing us this clear indecision, okay, and a lack of momentum following through to the downside after our bearish impulsive candle. Now, after we get the doji candle in the middle, we then get this larger engulfing candle back to the upside, okay, matching, okay, the starting point of the previous large down candle, or even exceeding that candle. Now, by doing this, it's showing us a complete switch in momentum from bearish to bullish. Okay, you can see that we went bearish, we then consolidated in the middle candle where price is telling us that it's exhausted and it's no longer looking to move lower. Okay, it may have found that buying support, and then we then get that nice confirmation up engulfing bullish candle, okay, as candle 3, and this completes our morning star formation. So of course, if you were looking in a bearish trend where we're moving down lower and lower and lower, and we reach a level where we then see a morning star formation, okay, potentially in an area of support, or after, we've swept a level of liquidity, okay, into an area of support, or even if we've had, a descending 3-touch channel, and we see our morning star formation, this will be a great place to actually look for long positions, okay, because it's telling us that the momentum is running out, okay, and it's actually showing us beforehand that shift in momentum back from bearish into bullish. So let's have a look at the next formation. So the next candlestick pattern I want to talk about, okay, is what is known as tweezer bottoms. Now, tweezer bottoms, okay, are another great tool to predict a potential bullish move, because it is not only showing us a low test candle, but in this situation it's showing us two low test candles next to each other. So this means that on the first low test candle, okay, price moved lower and lower, okay, it reached the low point of the candle before then retracing, leaving a wick, okay, and closing with a nice solid up candle. So this is telling us that it's clearly rejected a level of price and that it may be starting a bullish move to the upside. Now, when we then get the next candle print and the exact same thing happens, what this is telling us is that we have now got a tweezer bottoms candlestick formation, and this means that twice in a row price has rejected a potential price level, okay, and longs may be imminent now following this formation. So again, if we were in a particular area where we felt like price may actually be turning here from a structural point of view, and we then saw tweezer bottoms, this would be a great indication to us that price may actually be moving to the upside, because we're able to understand what these candles are actually showing us. And by understanding what these candles are showing us, we know that it's showing a rejection of a potential price level, okay, and that price is actually slowly becoming bullish. So by seeing this, okay, you want to be looking for longs, and it'll be a great tool to use, okay, when trying to frame up a trade idea. So let's have a look at the next pattern. Now, the final pattern I want to talk about, okay, is what's known as the retrace candle. Now, the retrace candle, okay, shows a clear up and down or down and up movement in price, okay, very snappy from one direction into the other, okay, showing that fast change from sellers into buyers or buyers into sellers. Okay, so in this example you can see that we had a nice down candle, okay, followed by a very strong bullish candle to the upside, okay, which actually closed above the down candle's body completely and showed us that there is clear momentum pushing to the upside. Now, retrace candle again is a great tool to use at being able to predict potential momentum entering the market, because it's showing us that clear change in trend. It's showing us that buying power is coming into the market, that price is now trading at a cheap enough point that there's more demand for prices to actually move higher. And you can see that by having, you know, this down candle and then a full retrace of that candle. Because if price wasn't cheap, okay, and it was still quite expensive, you would see more momentum coming to the downside, okay, and you wouldn't always see this clear retrace in price, okay, on a back-to-back candle. So again, if we were in an area of support right now, this would be a great indication to get into long trades and look for potential buys. So this is our last candlestick formation, and now what we're going to do is we're going to take this to the live charts, okay, and I'm going to talk through a series of different price points and how you can actually see all these different bullish patterns playing out in real time, okay, and being able to actually identify them and predict movements, okay, in the bullish direction. So let's have a little look at that now. Okay, so if we have a little look on the chart here, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to just talk through some different examples of where price tends to move in the upwards direction, okay, and the types of candlestick patterns that we can actually see at the bottom of these moves. So what we'll do, okay, is I'll just start moving through price now and talk through different things that I'm seeing on the chart, okay, which is actually relating to our different candlestick patterns. So the first thing that I can see, okay, looking at the chart, is this area just in here. Now, what we can actually see here, okay, is that we've actually had this small move to the upside. Now, what actually caused that move to the upside? And as you can see, is we have this morning star just in here. Now, why is this a morning star? Well, first of all, we have this larger down candle just in here, okay. It's then followed by this sort of corrective small doji candle, okay, just in between, and then we get this nice retrace candle all the way back up, okay, a nice looking bullish engulfing candle to complete our morning star. Now, this formation, okay, is a lovely formation to see, especially if we were looking at some kind of like line or something that's coming over from here, okay, an area of potential support, or an area where we may have swept some kind of liquidity, okay, into potentially some kind of channel. Then this formation would have been an excellent place to look to get involved in trades. Now, if we keep looking back, okay, what else can we see? So again, we have another morning star formation, okay, just in here before this move to the upside, okay. What can we see? We have this downwards candle first of all in here, okay, that is then followed by this sort of doji candle just in here, okay, and then to finish that off, we then get this larger bullish candle back in here, okay, and that then completes our morning star formation. So again, that's another morning star formation just in here that we can see, okay, before the start of this move to the upside. Now, even after this morning star formation, okay, we then get another potential candle in here, okay, which is showing us a nice low test candle. Now, this is a low test because of this larger wick on the bottom half of the candle, okay, and then a sort of a smaller body in here. And again, we then get another low test candle next to that one as well. So this could also potentially be seen as tweezer bottoms, okay. Now, even though this wick in here isn't quite the same length as the other one, okay, you can still see that we have the same type of candle with these sort of rejection wicks aiming downwards, which is showing us the price is rejecting this level, okay. Same thing over here, we have this larger wick, okay, and this smaller body showing us another low test candle, and then you can see the price eventually moves to the upside. So what actually happens after this? Okay, so what else can we actually see? We have in here, okay, a much clearer example of tweezer bottoms. Okay, you can see how we've got these nice, okay, identical looking wicks back to back. Okay, first of all, we've got the low test candle, and then we then get the second wick, which then turns into a nicer, more engulfing bullish candle. Okay, so that's another example of a potential candlestick formation before a move to the upside. Okay, now if we keep looking back, what else can we see? Well, again, we've got this candle in here, okay, which is another low test candle. You can see how this one's got no wick on the top side, okay, and a large wick on the bottom. Now, this is a clear indication the price is rejecting away from these levels in here, okay, and that price may then be continuing to the upside, so it's giving you more reason to take longs from this area. Okay, and if we keep looking down, what else can we see? We've then got a nice clear bullish engulfing candle just in here, okay, this large candle just in here. Okay, it's clearly bullish, okay, very large body, very small wicks, so it's showing us momentum to the upside. And then what actually happens is we do get continuations in price, okay, we get pullbacks, and eventually we get moves even higher. So it's confirming to us that we have that momentum in the markets, okay, when we actually see these kind of candles. So if we keep looking down, what else have we got? Okay, we've got another low test candle just in here. Okay, a nice low test candle before the moves again higher. And then in here, what we can see is we've actually got a retracing candle. So why is this a retracing candle? Well, the last down candle, okay, was this size and that size body, and then the very next candle almost retraces to exactly the same price, okay, as this down candle, showing us that we clearly went down and then immediately showed momentum in the opposite direction. So these are just some very clear indications so far of areas in which price may be looking to move higher, okay, as we build that picture of the sort of bullish patterns that we're looking for at certain areas. So if we continue to look through price, okay, what we've got, again, you can see how we have another pair of tweezer bottoms in here, these identical wicks, okay. Yes, we do have this large wick on the top, and that, would put me off slightly, especially how we've had this large momentum to the downside. So you may not actually be looking for this to go long, you may actually be looking for this to sell off short. But again, the concept's there and you can see the move upwards. So again, now we've had more moves down, so even in areas such as here, okay, areas which initiate pullbacks in price, you can see how we have these wicks, okay, combined on the bottom here. Now this is showing us that first of all we get this doji candle just in here, where you tend to get an equal wick on both sides, okay, and then a small body in the middle. And then after that we then get this kind of larger doji candle, and then we get this nice low test candle, which we know is a majority wick, okay, and then a small body. So these three candles here, okay, are telling me the price is consolidating after this larger, okay, bearish engulfing candle to the downside. Price then decides, okay, we like this price level now, it's cheap enough, and now that we want to actually push back higher. So if we keep looking back in price, you can see again, every time we tend to get moves up, like in areas such as this, we get these collection of wicks before the push higher. Now remember, wicks are showing us, okay, that there is a potential area of reversal. Now the candle bodies tend to show the direction of the profit, okay, and the wicks will show the direction of the loss. So by seeing all of these wicks just in here, okay, you can tell that price is not going to be going down, and instead you can see that we actually then get a nice push to the upside. After we get this doji candle in here, you can see that we've got elements of a morning star just in here, okay. We've got this down candle followed by this doji, and then a nice larger bullish engulfing. So if we keep looking through price, what else can we see? Okay, so before this push to the upside, just in here, you can see that we had this nice wick in here, okay, and this sort of larger body, okay. It's not quite a low test for me, but you know, you could definitely see the reaction we have away from this wick, okay. So it's some kind of price level that is relevant for more long positions. So again, if we start at the bottom of the leg, what can we see? So again, okay, nothing really to start with, but then we get this nice, again, wick in here with this sort of smaller body. Yes, it looks kind of like a doji, even though we've got quite a bit of body in the middle of this candle, okay, but again, you can see how we then get this increased momentum in here, okay, with these bullish engulfings, and that can definitely show the way, okay, when you're definitely getting these smaller body candles before that push to the upside. So what else have we got if we keep looking? Okay, we've also got lots of downtrends as well playing out, which we're going to go into in the next video. But for now, we're just going to focus on what we can see in these moves higher. So again, if we look what actually is happening in these areas in here, again, we've got this doji candle in here, which is showing us signs of potential consolidation and potentially a reversal. Okay, and then we get these nice impulsive candles, okay, that start to show us momentum increasing in the market. We then get this low test candle in here, which is where you get the wick in here, okay, no wick on the top side, and it's all body at the top, okay, and then we then get these bullish engulfings and price moves higher. Again, after this pullback in here, we then get these two candles in here, which is kind of seen as a bit of a retrace candle. You can see we get the push down on this candle, then you almost get a complete retrace on the next candle along. Okay, and this could be a sign that we've finished pulling back and we're ready for the next impulsive move to the upside. So we'll look at a few more examples now. Okay, again, a nice retrace candle in here. Okay, that's a better example where you get the down candle and then you get the up candle close, okay, is higher than the down candle. Okay, and that's showing us momentum to the upside, okay, as well as these wicks in areas such as this and this, okay, showing us potential consolidation in the markets before we then see, okay, again, another morning star formation in here. This could even be seen as a morning doji star, okay, because we've got this down candle in here, followed by this doji in here, okay, and then another large up candle. So this is telling us that maybe we're going to be continuing our current trend, okay? We set up the morning star and then we actually continue in the upwards direction. So as you can see, guys, okay, in lots of the low points of the chart, okay, you can see, I mean, again in here, another nice low test candle just in here, okay, nice big wick and a small body. So you can clearly see that these candlestick formations are happening all over the charts, okay. It's just about being able to use our support and resistance and our different candlestick sort of structures, okay, and our kind of trend lines and our channels, work that all together to build that kind of trade idea, and then just use these candle, you know, bullish and bearish patterns as a sort of a final tool to give you that additional confluence that you might need to actually get involved in a trade. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video and took something valuable away from this. In the next episode, we're going to be talking through bearish patterns, so you don't want to miss that one, and I will see you all in the next episode.
Be a dork.